Hey guys, Alex from House of Bikes. Today we are unboxing and assembling the Magicycle Jaguarundi, our best-selling folding e-bike. So here's the tools we're going to need. Everything comes from Magicycle, but if you have your own, feel free to use your own clippers, a 4mm and a 5mm Allen key, a 10mm socket or wrench, a Phillips screwdriver, and a pedal wrench or a 15mm wrench. That's about it. Let's get to it. So when you open the box here, you have this box from Magicycle. There's your toolkit. So it's pretty much everything you need is in there. Charger's in here, owner's manual is in here. We also have our headlight, which we're gonna set aside because we'll be mounting that soon. Our pedals are here as well. And that's about it. So you'll notice this bike comes really well packaged from the factory. Lots of padding in here to protect it during shipping. And it's time to undo all of these zip ties so we can have access to the bike. Once you clip off enough zip ties, you're able to pull the front wheel out. And you can just set it aside. And then there's more zip ties to get rid of. With most of the zip ties out of the way, we can pull the bike out. If you don't have a helping hand, you can just lift it sideways like so. And you'll notice without doing anything special, the bike is able to stand on its own thanks to this little base faceplate here at the bottom of the fork. So that's really nice. As you can see, more zip ties. At this point, you can actually lift the seat out. You'll see why in a second. So our keys are always on another zip tie. Gotta love zip ties. Here with the wiring at the front of the bike. You can clip that out. And by having a key, we are now able to pull out the battery so we can charge it while we build the rest of the bike. One more zip tie here. Now we can put the stem in its vertical position. And the latch, we can latch it. Now it's latched. When you hear that click, get rid of some more of the packaging here. So what we're going to do next is put our handlebar on. And before doing that, I always like to add a little bit of grease on the tube here so that you can move it freely without it seizing on you. Okay, that's plenty of grease. So now we can undo our little clip there. I'm going to take this greasy glove off. Now we can put the handlebar on. Just like so. And we remove more packaging. Now we're ready for the next step, which is to remove the fork from its cradle down here. This is a quick release. Just undo it. And when you pull it out, just make sure you don't lose your little cone springs. And we're just going to set the skewer down here. So often these bikes have a spacer in the caliper to prevent the pads from sticking. This particular bike doesn't have it. So what we're going to do is make sure we don't hit the front brake, because that's going to get the pads to stick, and then it's going to be super fun to pry them apart. So we're going to avoid doing that. All right, now the front wheel has a little cap here. I'm going to take that out. And the rotor is protected with this thing, which we got to remove as well. Now what we're going to do is lift the bike out of its base and insert the wheel at the bottom of the fork. Alright, so now you want to make sure your bike doesn't fall over while you get your skewer back through the axle. I actually like to flip it around and keep the latch on the right side. That way, when you mess about with the front wheel, you don't have to get your hands close to the brake rotor, because your hands get greasy, and if you get that grease over your brake rotor, it's going to start squealing. Nobody wants squealy brakes, do we? Alright, so our front wheel is on, and now to stabilize the bike, we can get the kickstand down. There we go. Now the bike independently stands on its own. So at this point, what we got to do is put the fender on. This is very easy to do, guys. But first, you got to remove the wrapping. So this little cap here on the fender goes towards the front. Just pass it through under the top part of the fork and rest it on the front tire. And it can just chill out like that for a second. And what we're going to do is we're going to use a 5mm Allen key to loosen our little bolt here. And you can use a 10 on the other side to keep the nut in place while we loosen it. Alright, just make sure you don't lose the washers. Set your bolt down for now and grab your headlight, which is this piece right here. This is our beautiful headlight, and we mount it in front of the fork. You might just need a Phillips to loosen this screw here to be able to move the headlight a little better, giving you proper access to its bracket. So once we're lined up there, we're going to pass our bolt through the bracket of the fender, through the headlight bracket as well. And then we're going to mount our washer and our nut on the back side. Again, we use our 5mm to tighten the whole contraption here. You don't have to get it super tight right now, because the next step is going to be mounting the arms of the fender here, right near the top of your brake caliper, and that is a 4mm bolt that we have to undo. Pass the bolt through the arm and back into its hole. Same thing on the other side. Now with the arms properly tightened, our fender here is just about ready for its final positioning. Then what we want to do is lower the headlight so it's kind of flush with the ground, or parallel I should say. And we're going to use our Phillips to tighten it in that position, like so. And then we use a 5mm to keep this bolt in place while we give it one final turn with the wrench here. Alright, now our headlight is not going anywhere. All we got to do is connect it. So you'll see this little wire here is the connector for your headlight. It connects right to the battery, so you don't have to charge your headlight separately. It just powers up with the battery of the bike. And you'll notice there's a little groove at the top on both sides of this connection so that you can't get it wrong. There's even little arrows on both sides, so just light up the arrows, push inward, and there you go, she's connected. Just some final packaging to get rid of here. We're now going to add a bit of grease to our seat tube and our seat post. And again, the reason being is we don't want this to get stuck in there over time. It's never fun to have this seize up on you, and any kind of grease you have is fine. All-purpose grease will do the job. You essentially just don't want it to be metal on metal. Alright, now it's time to put our pedals on. Hey, did you guys know the Jaguarundi is actually a wild cat found in like the warmer parts of Mexico and South America? It's about twice the size of a house cat. I don't know if it folds like our Magicycle here, but it's a cool cat. So the pedals, there's one for each side. You got a right and a left. And you want to put the right pedal on the right side and the left pedal on the left side. Now, can't really see any markings on them, but oh, here we go. You got the R on this one and the L on this one. So we're gonna get our pedal wrench, and on the right side we always go clockwise because we want to be turning the pedal towards the front of the bike when we put it on. And same thing on the left side. The only difference being that we are going to go counterclockwise when we put this one on, because to put pedals on a bike, you always rotate towards the front. They're actually threaded differently, so this is one of the few times where you're threading in something by going counterclockwise. And the final wrapper gets removed here. Our bike is almost fully assembled. The only thing we're missing is the battery, which has been charging this whole time. So these batteries come about half charged from the factory, which is ideal for prolonging their lifespan. So if you're going to store your battery and not use the bike for a while, just keep it between like 40 to 70%. That's going to be ideal if you want to get the most life out of your battery. Now that it's fully charged, we just slide it in like so, and it's connected to the bike. And a little pro tip is you want to use your key to lock the battery so no one can steal it. And once you do that, turn the battery on, hit the little M button here in the center, and it powers up the bike. And she's ready to roll. So thanks for checking out this video. If you have any questions, drop them down in the comments. Subscribe to our channel, and we'll see you guys next time.